Medusa was not born a monster. She was forced to become one, because the gods needed someone to blame. This is the story of Medusa, the monster who was never the villain. She was punished for being a victim, and the gods turned her suffering into a warning for everyone else. Before the snakes, before the fear, Medusa was human. She was a mortal woman, known for her beauty. She served as a priestess in the temple of Athena. Her vows were strict, her life was quiet, and she belonged to the goddess she served. Poseidon saw Medusa, and he desired her. In the sacred temple of Athena, Medusa was attacked by a god. Poseidon took what he wanted. In a place meant for protection, Medusa had no power, no authority, no choice. And when the gods responded, it was not Poseidon who was punished. Athena did not strike Poseidon. She struck Medusa. Her hair became living snakes. Her gaze turned men to stone. The beauty she was once praised for became a curse, and she was banished, feared, isolated. Not because she was cruel, but because she reminded the gods of something they wished to forget. By the time Perseus was born, Medusa was already a legend. Stories no longer spoke of a woman, they spoke of a monster whose gaze turned men to stone. Perseus was a young hero, raised on promises of glory. When a king demanded Medusa's head, Perseus accepted the task, believing it was a righteous quest. The gods chose him, not because he understood the truth, but because he would obey. Athena gave Perseus a polished shield, so he would never have to meet Medusa's eyes. Hermes gave him winged sandals to move unseen. Others gifted him a divine blade, sharp enough to cut through fate itself. Perseus was protected at every step. Medusa was not. Perseus found Medusa asleep, far from temples, far from gods. She never saw him. She never fought back. Perseus was brave, but bravery does not equal justice. The blade fell, and the world called it victory. From her blood new life emerged, proof that even in death, Medusa still created what the gods destroy. Perseus returned as a hero. Medusa became a myth. And the story was told as though justice had been done. Over time, Medusa stopped being a story. She became a symbol. Her name was no longer spoken with sympathy, but with fear. Artists painted her as rage. Poets reduced her to a warning. The woman she once was faded from memory, and only the monster remained. But myths do not appear by accident. They are shaped by the voices that survive. In Medusa's story, power was never questioned. The gods remained untouchable, the hero remained pure, and the punishment fell on the one who could not resist. Medusa did not become a monster because she was dangerous. She became one because her suffering made others uncomfortable. Turning her into a monster made it easier to stop listening, easier to stop remembering. But stories do not stay buried forever. Over centuries, Medusa was remembered again, not as a creature of horror, but as a symbol of injustice. A reminder of what happens when power protects itself. Her image began to change. No longer only fear, but defiance. Once Medusa's gaze turned others to stone. Now, her story forces us to look, to question who was punished, and to wonder how many other voices were lost the same way. Medusa was never just a monster. She was a mirror. And what frightened people most was not her power, it was what her story revealed about them.